Good morning. What's up, everybody? Here we go. 2 weeks until Sports Talk with Hawk goes live. We have got training camp videos to finish up this week and next. Let's jump right into it. 2 teams that I think will easily be better than last year. Hopefully. Here we go. All right, everybody, here we go. Today, we are going to go over NFC South. 2 teams that I hope improve off of last year. We're starting with the Atlanta Falcons. And let's just get this out front immediately. If they go 7-10 again, Raheem Morris could easily be fired. And honestly, he should be. This team has playmakers everywhere. This team has a top 5 rated offensive line. This team has the ability to win since they are now officially starting Michael Penix, who throws a beautiful ball and absolutely galvanized the team when he came in last year. The reality is, take away the fluke game of the Panthers where the defense decided, the Atlanta Falcon and Panther game to close the year was just as much of an embarrassment for the Panthers defense. It's probably more for the Falcon defense. They let Bryce Young look like he was freaking Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like, the defense for the Falcons absolutely dropped the ball in the final week of the season. Michael Penix went toe-to-toe with Jaden Daniels. Michael Penix looks the part. Now, he may be closer to Joe Flacco than he is to Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. So what? That is a gosh darn good NFL career of a quarterback the franchise can rely on. And oh, by the way, Flacco's had a very long tenured career. So I fully expect this team to figure out the defensive aspect. Barring injuries, I know. I hate saying it, but yes, barring injuries. So what does this team have that makes them a threat to the Buccaneers in the NFC South? An offensive line that can manhandle the entire defensive line. Jake Matthews, Matt Bergeron, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McCary, Ryan Uziel. This offensive line is great. Bijan should have a really big year. It is funny, in a lot of the fantasy dynasty leagues that I have, Bijan Robinson has been coveted. There are a lot of people that understand that Bijan could have a Saquon Barkley-like year. I am not saying he's going to break the record, not even close. But could he eclipse the 1,800, 1,900 total yard from scrimmage mark? Absolutely. A full off season with Michael Penix as the starter should give the Falcons a boost heading into this year. That O-line is the strongest thing on this team. Now, the biggest question mark still, though, is the defensive line. They run a 34 defense. Zach Harrison, Ruke Okorohoro, and then, unfortunately, David Onyemata. And he has been a letdown since he was with the Giants. So the defensive line, I guess the biggest question is going to be, can you open up rushing lanes for your linebackers? Because the linebacking core is really good. Leonard Floyd, Caden Ellis, Divine Diablo, Arnold Ebb. And then you've got the rookies, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr. as backups. They're your rush ends. What I want to see is Floyd, Pierce, and Walker all on that line with Zach Harrison at once. Third down, give me all four of those on the field. Go after the passer. That's what I want to see. Now, it's barring health, but the defense is not bankrupt of ability to play the football. Their secondary, A.J. Terrell, Jesse Bates, Jordan Fuller, Mike Hughes, D. Alford, not bad. But that defensive line has been such a poor spot, it's hurt the rest of the team. Now, what is success for this team? Originally, I would say make the playoffs, but you know what? I don't think that's success. You need to win the division. You were slated to win the division last year. You beat the Buccaneers both times. And then you lost to the Saints and you lost to the Panthers. Now, I understand division games, but how you lost to those teams was despicable. Let's check out the first 6 weeks for the Atlanta Falcons in this season. Week 1, home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Fox. That is the 1 o'clock game, besides the Colts, that I will be watching. Absolutely. Multiple reasons. We'll get to the other ones when we get to the Buccaneer preview. But you got the Buccaneers week 1, Vikings week 2, Panthers week 3. The rematch with Washington week 4. Unfortunately for them, their bye week is week 5. Now, I say that only because of how tired you can get afterwards. Okay? I say that for that simple reason. But it may not be a bad thing. If there is an aspect of their defense that they really, really need to work on, or an aspect of their offense that needs to kind of change, they get an early bye week like Philadelphia had last year. Redo everything. Go back to the drawing board early. Get back to everything. See where we're at. It may work in their favor. I don't like it because of the long stretch of games afterwards. Week number 6, Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. And then week 7 is against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Now, I believe they can get through the first 4 games 3-1. I believe they can split Buffalo and San Francisco. So I think in the first 6 they can go 4-2. If they can do that, this is the next 5 games starting October 26th. These are the next 5 games. Home against the Dolphins, at the Patriots, versus the Colts across the pond, versus Carolina, and at New Orleans. And even then, the next week, at the New York Jets. The Falcons have a good, from week 8 to week 13, a good slot to be able to go 5-1 right there. They close the year with the Saints at home. So if you can get to 9 wins by week 13, if you can be 9-3 heading into the week 14 matchup against the Seahawks, I think we're looking good. 8-4, you're probably still okay. 7-5, you got the Seahawks, Buccaneers, Cardinals, and Rams. Those are your 4 games before that finale against the Saints. I don't like those options. I really don't. I don't like those options. 9-3, 8-4 heading into that stretch. Okay, go 2-3 your last. You get 10 wins. Odds are you're going to be, the Buccaneers will get 10, 11 wins. Win in the division. A failure, 7-10. You can't miss the playoffs again. Now, if you go 10-7, lose the division, miss out on the wild card because there's a bunch of 10-7 teams, I'll give you that one. You're 10-7. You're 3 games above 500. I'll give you that one. But the reality is, they need to make the playoffs this year. Need to. Now, the next team. Let's go ahead and take a look. The Carolina Panthers. Another team that I am extremely high on. Let's look at their first 6 games first. Because I think this is going to matter, because this is the year that this is the year Bryce Young has to prove what he can do. This is the year he's got to prove he can be the quarterback. So, the first 6 weeks for the Panthers. At Jacksonville to open. At Arizona. Home against the Falcons. At New England. Home against Miami. Home against Dallas. Their bye week is not till week 14. Those first 6 got to go 3-3. Now, success for this team, honestly, making the playoffs, I don't think is what's success. Making the playoffs would be above expectations. 7-10, 8-9 for this team should be what you're expecting. If they go 3-3 in that first 6 game stretch, you still play the Saints twice, and honestly, I think the Saints are going to be so bad. I really think they get the number 1 pick. I don't think it's the Browns. I think it's the Saints. New Orleans is talent bankrupt, and we'll go over them in the next preview. So I think there's 5 wins on this schedule automatically. If they can sneak out 2 more, sneak a win from Atlanta, sneak a win from Tampa Bay. If they can just sneak out 2 more, I think this team can finish 7-10. I believe in Dave Canales, but it's going to be Bryce Young. It's going to be dependent on what Bryce Young does. Now, strengths and weaknesses of this team. Remember, they were the worst defense in the league last year, and it wasn't even close. They were bad. Well, they really didn't fix their defensive line. And I know there's going to be those that say, hey, Derek Brown's on the defensive line. Yeah, but is he going to be healthy? You guys know I don't like bringing health into it. I don't do it a lot. I did it with the Niners, and I'm doing it here. A'Shawn Robinson, Bobby Brown, and Derek Brown. Those are your 3 down linemen. It looks the same as the Atlanta Falcons. And their linebackers aren't as good as Atlanta's. So honestly, the defensive line being weak just puts a bunch of pressure On the offensive line, who's the strength? Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, Ikem Ekwonu. That starting five, the offensive line, give Dave Canales credit. Chuba Hubbard had a huge year last year. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. They drafted a number one receiver in McMillan. I don't put a ton of stock into preseason, as you know. But doggone it, he looked pretty dang good running the routes. Beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. And with Bryce Young, that's probably what you're going to end up doing a lot. So very, very simply, in my eyes, success is 7-10. Failure is 4-13 or 3-14. I don't think this team is ready to make the playoffs. The defense needs more. They got $19 million in cap space as of right now. They've spent a lot of money on that offensive line. And for next year, they actually don't open up much more. They're already at $18 million cap space for next year. So they don't have a bunch of contracts that expire to give them a bunch of money. This is the make or break year for Bryce Young. They need him to be cheap because they don't have a bunch of cap space next year. Then they need to be able to hit on a defensive lineman in the draft next year and not worry about offense. Running backs taken care of. Quarterbacks taken care of. Receivers taken care of. Then next year you go after your defensive lineman. Next year you go after your defense and solidify the defense. J.C. Horn is outstanding. I love J.C. Horn, the corner. I love that they brought in Trevon Moehrig from the Raiders. They've got some guys. But as a whole, it's still going to be the weakness of this team. They can go 7-10 if this defense can go from last to between 25th and 22nd. But can you do that when there's not a lot that you added? There's not a lot that's there. So I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure. We'll find out. The Panthers and the Falcons. Two teams I absolutely love. And I'm excited to watch play this year. Bryce Young. Huge pressure on Bryce Young. I don't think that Canales should get fired even if they go 4-12. If Bryce Young plays bad. You have to give him a quarterback that is legitimate. Okay? You have to give him a quarterback that can actually play football. It's that simple. These are Bryce Young's career stats as of right now. 60% completion percentage, 26 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, and a rating of 77.3. That is his current career stats. Okay. Third year in the league. The second year with Dave Canales. Dave Canales, I really believe, is very good with offensive play calls. It's going to be on Bryce Young. This is not the guy that Canales drafted, but he's trying to make him work. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, that is going to be it. That is going to be it. Full weekend of preseason games. Some injuries, as usual. Different things taking place around the league. But football's getting closer and closer, baby. I cannot wait. I will be the one watching that first Saturday of college football, week 0. Oh, I'll be watching it. I will be watching it just because I want to watch football where the wins and losses change and it matters in the end of October, beginning of November. That's why. That's why. All right. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make it the best rest of the day you can. Make it the best rest of a Monday that you can make it, and have a fantastic Tuesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow with the Saints and the Buccaneers. We'll go over those two teams as we continue getting through the training camp previews. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it, as always. Until the next one, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a fantastic evening.